Hello, welcome. My name is Inely Cesna. Welcome to this mediation training. Today we're going to be talking about compassion, empathy, and presence in the mediation setting. So let's go right into our slides. Okay. Here we go. Compassion, empathy, and presence. And I always like to start this presentation with Carl Roger. He's a great figure in the psychology field. And he has taught us that compassion is to feel as if we are the other person, to feel as if we are the other person, but without ever losing the as if condition, right? And I'll explain a little bit more about that. But he also talks about unconditional positive regard, is the ability to hold another person in unconditional positive regard, unconditional, regardless of what's going on, regardless of what's being said. We're going to maintain this positive connection, this positive intention towards that person, regardless of what's happening. So let's take a look at this chart, which is a very interesting chart put together by Harvard Business Review in understanding compassion and our ability to help, our ability to support. And I like this chart because it shows sort of like the spectrum of emotions that we go through in order to achieve that high level of compassion. And this can be very unconscious, and that's why I like the chart, because it articulates something that often we feel and we don't have words for. But the chart connects, the other person's experience with our ability to help and our ability to support in the vertical. So on the pity, which is kind of like a low understanding of the other person's experience and also a low ability to support, is a place where I feel what you feel, right? But man, I couldn't bear it. If I was in your place, I couldn't bear it. I feel so sorry for you. It's like that place, oh my God, poor you. It's the pity. And in that place of poor you, I feel so sorry, I can't help, right? Because I am feeling, it's like Carl Rogers said, I'm feeling what they're feeling, but I completely lost the condition as if. And so I'm just, feeling as bad as they are, or even worse than they are. The next one is sympathy. Sympathy is I feel for you, right? I feel what you feel. So there's a greater understanding of the other person's experience, but I still couldn't bear it. I still not sure how I would react to it. So I still feel bad here. I feel bad for you. So I have this sympathy, probably not as bad as the pity, a little higher of an understanding, but I'm still feeling bad for you. Now, the next one is empathy. And empathy changes a bit. See, they put here, I feel with you. So empathy is, yes, I feel what you feel. I feel with you, but I can bear to listen. At least I can bear to be here with you. I'm in it with you. I can bear to be in this with you. And this is a great level of sport. Often, sometimes others just want us to listen. They just want us to bear with them. Just bear here with me. And that's beautiful. Empathy is beautiful. But the opportunity here is that there is another level, and that is of compassion. And compassion is I feel what you feel, I can bear it, and I can help. Do you want my help? I can help. And the way I like to differentiate the two, the empathy from compassion, is imagine there is someone drunk on the ground in front of you. They are wasted. So in empathy, it's like, okay, I'm going to feel with you. And in order to feel with you, I will be as drunk as you are. And then it's going to be both of us lying on the ground. And we won't be able to, we will support one another as we lie on the ground. But in compassion, what we're doing is, I feel what you feel. I know how hard it is to be drunk lying on the ground. But if I'm drunk together with you, then I can't give you a hand. So I know how you feel. I get what you're feeling. And I'm here to give you a hand so that you can stand up, so that you can step out. And so we feel as if we are the other person, but without losing the condition as if, as Carl Roger has taught us. And so this is a little bit of an introduction here to the compassion and the empathy and the opportunity to observe ourselves in these different stages of pity, sympathy, empathy, and compassion. What does it mean to each one of you to be in these different stages? And how do we apply that as mediators in the mediation table? My experience has been that the greater my experience of compassion and empathy is, the more neutral I become, the more I am able to understand the other person's feeling, understand what's happening with the other person without forgetting the condition as if. It allows me to be open-minded, to have a more expansive and inclusive attitude, to seek the broader understanding of things from different angles, right? Standing in different positions, I can see different things. It helps me notice my own internal judgments, because sometimes judgments also come up in us as mediators, and it's important to be aware of them. When our own material is being triggered, oh, this person reminds me of my uncle that used to spank me as I was a child, or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be that, but it's the ability to recognize my own associations, my own negative judgments, and then forgive myself. And it's kind of silently, I forgive myself for judging this person as my uncle. I forgive myself for judging my uncle. I forgive myself for forgetting that they have their own material here to go through. And so the truth is that I don't need to judge, that they're doing the best they can under their circumstances with the cards that they are handled. So the ability to free ourselves from our own negative judgments. And as we clear ourselves, as we free ourselves from judgment, to come into a place of offering more of the benefit of the doubt, right? Offering more of the benefit of the doubt that others are doing actually the best they can, the best they know how under their circumstances, considering their environment, their upbringing, the situation that they've been through. They're doing the very best they can and the very best they know how, even if they are making a lot of mistakes. So putting ourselves in the other person's shoes, but not only in that particular situation, but in the entire perspective and context of their story, of their life story, right? That if we had been there, we probably would have been doing the same thing, or we could be doing the same thing. And it's an opportunity to really understand one another from a broader context. So in terms of compassion and empathy, the book Super Communicators, and I think the author is Charles Huggins, something like that. I'm not correct there, but it's a great book. And the book talks about, in every conversation, in every conflict, there's three things that people are looking for. They're looking to be heard, they're looking to be hugged, and they're looking to be helped. Heard, hugged, and helped. And my experience has been that it's usually in that order. We have to do it in this order. So the first one is being heard. What is this all about? It's just the ability to listen, the active listening, which I talked about in another training session the ability to listen, to be present and listen to what happened. The other one, okay, now that I listen to you, now I can feel with you. How do we feel about this? I can feel as if I am the other person without forgetting the condition, as if. So that's the opportunity to hug here, between in quotes. And finally, to help. Okay, who are we gonna be in the face of this situation? What kind of identity do we create for ourselves? How we're going to respond? Who are we going to be in face of what's present? Okay. These are 3 areas that mediators should really practice to balance these 3 areas. One is rational competence. So I can hear with my mind, I can hear through the logic or through the chronology of things. And then emotional intelligence, so that I can feel as if I am the other. I can be connected there emotionally as if, without forgetting the condition as if. And finally, a positive attitude, the hope. Very important in mediation, I think, for the mediator to bring the idea that there is light in the end of the tunnel. There is hope here. We can achieve something together. Let's stay with it. We can do this. Who are we going to be as a result of this situation? And how lucky we are to be together here to create something better, right? That hopeful attitude. So these 3 areas, I would like to just kind of dig in a little more, so that we become more aware of them. We become more conscious of the presence of these 3 aspects in every mediation. Being able to hear, what is this all about, with our rational competence, using whether be it logic or an objective way of assimilating the facts, recognizing the values that are present there, using our common sense, right, to try to put the whole situation, the whole scenario into some kind of logical chronology. And the second one is emotional intelligence, connecting emotionally with the situation as if we were the other person, without losing that condition as if, but coming together in terms of recognizing the emotions, also making a space to deal with the emotions. Emotions is what generates conflict. So we can't pretend that they're not there. We can't deal with conflict assuming, ignoring and avoiding emotions, because emotions is the bottom line of every conflict. So allowing space to deal with it, to manage it, to regulate it. That's where compassion and empathy comes forward. And that's where presence comes forward. And we're going to talk about presence a little bit more in a minute. And finally, the helping part of it. Who are we going to be in the face of this situation? So how can we bring that positive outlook, the positive attitude of hope, collaboration, optimism, possibilities? How are we going to create the future that we want to create? Who do we want to be in that future? Right? That's the third. So heard, hugged, and helped. Rational competence, emotional intelligence, and positive outlook or positive attitude is what we want to balance in our energy as mediators while we come to the sacred space of mediating conflicts. And finally, to come into this place of presence, right? To bring ourselves into a level of alignment where our bodies, our emotions, our minds, and our soul, if you will, are there. They are all in alignment. They are all present there in a healthy and clear way. So I'm not sitting in the mediation thinking about what's happening, with this other case that I'm handling, or with, whatever situation I left at home with my spouse or my children. I can come to the situation sort of in a centered way, in an undivided way, where I can bring the energy of balance and creativity and lightheartedness so that I can demonstrate the emotional and mental self-regulation that I hope the parties will mimic, that I hope the parties will bring forward as well, so that we can have a better communication during mediation. And this is all about this empathy and compassion to create the connection, the communication that we want. And this leads into the neutrality, this ability to stay neutral, stay impartial, and stay multi-partial. And this is the topic of another presentation: neutrality, impartiality, and multi-partiality, the differences of all of that. But it all has to do with the opportunity to not take sides, to provide something fair and just, and to allow all parties to have the same view level, the same input into the outcome. So that's that for this presentation on compassion, empathy, and presence. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.